Hello everyone. So in math today we're moving away from volume and area and we're going to start talking more about geometry, specifically 2D shapes. So as a fifth grader you need to be able to look at a shape, classify it by its attributes or properties, and then name a shape. So we're going to focus on parallelograms and trapezoids today. And your job today is going to be to draw a parallelogram and draw a trapezoid. So your math assignment today is very easy. So let's get started. So a parallelogram. The important attributes about a parallelogram is that it's a quadrilateral. So if you think about the word quad, it has, or quadrilateral, it has the word quad in it, which means four. So parallelogram falls into the category of a quadrilateral, which are 2D shapes with four sides. In a parallelogram, the opposite sides are parallel and they're also congruent. So parallel means they'll never intersect, and then congruent means that they are equal. Opposite sides in a parallelogram are also equal, or I'm sorry, opposite angles are also equal. And lastly, parallelograms include squares, rectangles, and a rhombus. So I'm going to show you some examples and some non-examples. So I want you to look at this for a second. And on this piece of paper, I want you to think about which are parallelograms and which are not parallelograms. So thinking about what you were just told about the attributes of a parallelogram, two of these are not parallelograms. So I'm going to go ahead and cross those two out. Hopefully you were thinking of the same ones as me. These two are not parallelograms. The others are, they fit the properties of a parallelogram. And I want to show you how you could, label your shapes to give them a name. So for example, let's use this parallelogram up in this hand corner. Up in this corner. I'm going to name this one A, B, C, D. Okay. The way we name shapes is using letters. That way, when we use letters, we can identify it instead of just saying, I'm talking about that parallelogram right there. If you name the letters in the shape, then it's easier to identify which polygon you're talking about. So this one would be called parallelogram ABCD. So when I drew this parallelogram, I made sure that the opposite sides were equal. So I used a ruler to do that. And then these opposite sides are also equal. So we were just talking also about how opposite angles are equal. Now I don't have a protractor, but if I were to measure these angles, these are the same measure, and these are the same measure. These lines are parallel, these lines are parallel. So that one has all the attributes of a parallelogram. Now, there's also a rectangle and a square on my page. Those are also parallelograms. If I wanted to name them, I could do L, M, N, O. So my rectangle, which is a parallelogram, is now named that. I could name my square with different letters. So that would be how you show the name of a parallelogram, or any polygon, really. All right, moving on to trapezoid. All right, a trapezoid is also a quadrilateral, but it only has one pair of parallel sides. When you look on the internet, some sources might say that a trapezoid has at least one side, or two sides that are parallel, one pair of parallel sides. That's a different definition. We're going with the definition that a trapezoid has one pair of parallel sides. So if you see that, that's the reason. Sometimes people define things in different ways. And there are a few different types of trapezoids. There's a scalene, isosceles, right, obtuse, and acute. And so I have drawn some trapezoids down here for you to look at. So your job for today is to draw a trapezoid and a parallelogram, and you are going to label them. And let me tell you the letters that you will be labeling them with. Actually, you know what? You can choose. So draw one trapezoid, one parallelogram, and then you are going to label them in the corners like I did with a letter so that you can name them. I also really want you to make sure that you are using a ruler. Shapes have straight sides, so it's important that you use a ruler to do this. All right, have fun.